once we have the internal carotid artery will actually enter approximately here. And it's going to give off, excuse me, here. It's going to give off two different arteries. It's going to give off this one called the middle cerebral, and this one right here called the anterior cerebral. So the internal carotid artery would be here. It gives off the middle cerebral artery and the anterior cerebral artery. Anterior cerebral artery and middle cerebral artery. If we look toward the back, this right back here is going to be the foramen magnum. And you'll notice that there are two arteries that pass through the foramen magnum. They start here, if you remember, the transverse, going through the transverse foramen of the cervical vertebra. They pass up and then eventually go into the foramen magnum. When they go up the foramen magnum, they join to form this one artery right here. This artery right here is called the basilar artery. So here we have the vertebral arteries going through the foramen magnum and then go up to the basilar artery. The basilar artery then splits and then becomes the posterior cerebral artery. So this is the left posterior cerebral and the right posterior cerebral artery. You do not need to know left versus right. You don't need to say either one, I should say. You do need to know their cerebral arteries and posterior cerebral arteries. So this is the anterior cerebral artery, middle cerebral artery, posterior cerebral artery, basilar artery, vertebral arteries. Okay? And again, from the other side, this is cranial nerve 10, that's the vagus nerve. It follows on the internal carotid artery, and right here inside the transverse foramen is going to be the vertebral artery. And you can also find the vertebral artery on this model over here. And here is the vertebral artery going through the transverse foramen. So vertebral artery. Does everybody get that? Okay, great.